When it comes to influence and control, few concepts are as potent and controversial as those found in Shogun Method. Whether you're just learning the basics or you're deep into advanced techniques, understanding the psychological mechanisms behind each tactic is essential. Today, we're going to break down some of the most powerful tools in the Shogun arsenal, including fractionation, implanted commands, emotional anchoring, and more. These aren't just theories. They're real-world techniques that have the superpowers to shape relationships, steer emotions, and create intense sexual connections. But, as with any powerful tool, there's a flip side. Every Shogun Method tactic we discuss today has its own potential for harm if misused. So this isn't just about learning how to wield Shogun Method. It's about understanding the responsibility that comes with the power. Let's dive in. Fractionation. Fractionation is at the heart of Shogun Method. It's all about creating those emotional highs and lows that foster a sense of dependency. The concept is straightforward. Make someone experience intense emotional swings, and you'll create an addictive cycle that keeps them hooked. Imagine this scenario. A guy makes a woman feel euphoric one moment, then pulls back, leaving her in emotional turmoil. She craves the highs and fears the lows, deepening her attachment with every swing. Why does it work? Well, it taps into intermittent reinforcement, something unpredictable yet rewarding. That unpredictability gets addictive, and over time, the emotional investment deepens. But there's a risk. This can mess with a woman's emotional stability, potentially leading to anxiety, depression, or worse. The manipulator might even become desensitized to the harm he's causing, turning it into a pattern of emotional abuse that escalates over time. Implanted commands. Implanted commands are subtle, but powerful. These are suggestions woven into conversations that bypass the conscious mind and directly influence the subconscious. It's not about what you say, but how you say it. Think of the shogun casually saying to his target, "You probably haven't realized how much you enjoy spending time with me." He's planting the idea that she enjoys his company without ever explicitly stating it. Why does this work? The subconscious is incredibly receptive to suggestion, especially when it's subtle and indirect. Over time, these commands shape behavior without her realizing she's being influenced. Of course, there's a dark side. Overuse of implanted commands can lead to a loss of self-identity. A woman might make decisions that aren't aligned with who they really are, driven by unconscious suggestions. The result? Long-term psychological damage and a serious erosion of autonomy. Emotional anchoring. Emotional anchoring is all about linking specific emotions to certain triggers, words, gestures, or situations that become emotional buttons. Once those buttons are established, they can be pressed to evoke the same feelings again and again. For example, imagine a shogun using a certain phrase during special moments. Eventually, that phrase alone triggers the same emotions whenever the target hears it. These could be positive or negative emotions, and so the shogun often uses them with fractionation. Why does it work? Emotional associations are powerful cognitive devices. Once an anchor is set, you can use these anchors to evoke the same emotional state on command, deepening the connection and hypnotic trance. But like anything else in Shogun Method, it can be misused. Anchoring can manipulate a woman's emotional state, leaving her conditioned to react in ways that benefit the manipulator. Over time, this can lead to emotional dependence, where breaking free from the relationship feels almost impossible. Social proof manipulation. Social proof manipulation is simple yet effective. It plays on the need for social validation, using the approval of others to reinforce dependency and shape behavior. A classic example, a shogun subtly suggesting that everyone around them approves of the relationship, creating an external pressure for her to stay committed. Of course, this is simply a temporary strategy until he uses the Black Rose sequence on her. Why does it work? Social proof is a fundamental driver of human behavior. When people believe others approve of their choices, they're more likely to stick with them. But this can distort reality. Manipulating social proof can make a woman imagine that her decisions are universally supported when she's actually being controlled. It erodes confidence in independent decision-making, creating heavy emotional reliance on the approval of the manipulator, the shogun. Emotional roller coastering. The emotional rollercoastering is all about emotional whiplash. It's the classic Shogun Method tactic of giving affection, then pulling away. One day you're close, the next you're distant, leaving the other person emotionally unstable and more invested. Picture this. The Shogun showers a woman with affection, then suddenly withdraws, leaving her confused and desperate for his attention. Why does it work? It's the unpredictability. The emotional roller coaster makes a woman focus on regaining what she thinks she has lost, creating a deeper emotional investment. And for a woman, the deeper she emotionally invests in a man, the harder it is for her to quit him. But this can wear a woman down. The emotional instability from emotional roller coasters can lead to dependency, where she feels trapped in the cycle, emotionally exhausted, and unsure of how to break free. The only way out is the Shogun, to take her off this cycle by installing a new identity with the Black Rose sequence. Scarcity tactics. Scarcity tactics involve creating a sense of urgency or limited availability to increase attachment. When something seems rare, its value skyrockets. Here's how it works. A man makes himself scarce, hinting that his time and attention are limited. Suddenly, she values him more because he's not always available. Why does it work? People naturally want what they can't easily have. The scarcity principle taps into that, increasing desire and attachment. But be careful. Scarcity tactics can create a sense of insecurity, where the other person feels pressure to hold on to something they believe is slipping away. This anxiety can drive unhealthy attachment, causing them to act against their better judgment. Of course, unless you've got good intentions, and so you'll use this tactic to steer her judgment for the good of both of you. Future projections. Future projections involve painting a picture of a shared future to deepen emotional investment. When a woman visualizes a future with you, their commitment grows as her emotional investment in you deepens. Imagine a guy talking about future plans, travel, moving in, maybe even marriage. When she imagines the same thing with him, her emotional investment in him strengthens. Why does it work? Visualization is a powerful tool. By making the future feel real, you create a stronger emotional bond. But it's a double-edged sword. If those future promises go unfulfilled, it can lead to feelings of betrayal and disillusionment. And once someone's invested in a future that may never happen, they might feel trapped, unsure how to walk away. Black Rose sequence. The Black Rose sequence is an advanced Shogun Method move, often referred to as the endgame in the I-Ray model. It's a calculated series of steps designed to deepen emotional control, blending together the 4 steps of Shogun Method seamlessly, tying everything up in a final coup d'etat. Picture this. The Shogun gradually isolates a woman from her friends, making her more dependent on him emotionally. It's not sudden. It's a slow, careful process. And then he hypnotizes her and erases her identity, replacing it with the one he designs himself. Why does it work? Identity erasure works because of a woman's cognitive biases and emotional needs. Once consumed by the new identity, over time, emotional dependency on the Shogun grows, while outside influences fade away. It's a precise game that takes patience to execute well. But the dangers here are clear. This level of emotional isolation can leave a woman vulnerable, cutting off their support network and creating extreme dependency on the manipulator. The Shogun gains complete control, making it nearly impossible for the woman to break free. After all, he is the one who pulls the strings of the new identity. Got all that? Good. Now, let's get real for a moment. The Shogun Method tactics you learn as a Shogun, whether it's fractionation, emotional anchoring, scarcity tactics, or the Black Rose sequence, hold tremendous power. And power like this can either build or destroy, depending on how you use it. These aren't tricks or gimmicks. They're tools designed to create deep emotional connections and shape behavior on a profound level. But here's the thing. Just because you can use them doesn't mean you should, without understanding the consequences. Emotional manipulation is not something to take lightly. You wield these tools irresponsibly, and you're playing with fire. You mess with a woman's mental state, destabilize her emotions, strip away her autonomy, and you're creating a relationship based on control, not connection. Shogun Method is about mastering influence, Yes, but it's also about mastering yourself. The power to control a woman comes with the responsibility to ensure you're not causing irreparable damage to her psyche. The fact is, with great power comes great consequence, and if you're not careful, you'll cross a line you can't uncross. This happened during our schism with Kronos, and it's something I don't want to revisit, ever. As a shogun, you must temper this knowledge with wisdom. When you lead a woman through emotional highs and lows, when you implant commands or anchor feelings to triggers, ask yourself, what's the end game? Because if your goal is pure manipulation without care for her emotional well-being, you're only setting yourself up for failure in the long run. Shoguns are better than that. Lead with intention, understand the responsibility of influence, and know that true mastery isn't about control. It's about knowing when and how to use Shogun Method to create something meaningful for you and your woman. The bottom line is this: use this knowledge responsibly. Don't do what your brother shoguns won't approve. So, only if you know what you're getting yourself and your woman into. Head to shogunmethod.com to acquire this power.